It's so sad I can never read all the books on my TBR list. Well, we could definitely try. Welcome to the series where I try to read every book on my to be read list. I'm starting with 74 books. Some will get added and removed along the way. We'll see where this ends. I'm currently reading The Sun and the Star Maker by Rachel Griffin. The cover alone got me to read this book, but it might have given me higher expectations. The book follows Aurora, who lives in a frost town called Reverie, which relies on the Star Maker for warmth. Aurora learns that she is to be the next Star Maker and must live with him to learn to pull from the sun. It is a romantasy book, which is not my preferred reading genre, but that's on me. I should have guessed from the cover. I'm just trying to focus on the fairy tale elements of the world and characters. I'm glad to say that I finished this book. What I learned from it is that maybe I should be reading book summaries. The main theme really seemed to be love. Aurora's motive in the beginning is love for her family, specifically her sister, and then it shifts to love for the Star Maker. For most of the book, it did feel like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, where the main character has to move into the castle of a mythical man from the town's tale. She has a certain time period before magic runs out, and she's reluctant about him at first, but then they fall in love. As I mentioned before, I like the fairy tale aspects, such as the personification of the sun, and I think this book is ideal for any readers who want a standalone romantasy read. So then my next read has been East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and this is a 600-page classic, and all I know is that it's supposed to be a Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve sort of retelling, and I thought that was really interesting, so I decided to pick it up. The way I kind of approached reading this was a kind of classroom way of understanding the book, so I'm trying to read one chapter at a time, and then I read a Spark Notes summary to go over it and make sure I understood everything. In between reading that book, I also read The Little Prince. This version is illustrated by Claudia Bourdin, and it is like a picture book. I'm currently on page 186 out of 602. The book is really just life events of the Trask and Hamilton families. It's way easier to understand than I thought it would be, but I'm still following through with the chapter summaries just in case there's anything I missed. Last night I finished reading East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I have no words because this book had no answers. There is a huge emphasis on choice and the impact of good and evil that I don't even know what good and evil is anymore. I really enjoyed reading the book and it lived up to the hype. My main takeaway is the word Timshel, meaning thou mayest, that we do have a choice between good and evil. I did a little bit of notes for each chapter. There was 55 pages, which was my first time doing this for a book, and it took 6 pages in my journal compared to a couple of pages for a book when I don't go chapter by chapter. It did end up taking me most of this month to read East of Eden, so I think I'm just going to end the episode right here. We started with 64 books and we'll end with 62 on my TBR.